Welcome to the Absurdly Nerd Podcast. Almost every week we put together a retrospective top 10 list for each year in video game history, and this time we're doing 2018.
This is the best year we've done yet.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It was such a different, it felt different. Like, doing the top 5, I was like, oof, this is rough.
I didn't want to say it while we were doing 2019 because, watch our content. But that's my least favorite year that we've done so far. I think that's fun in its own way to do one that you're kind of like.
Different, too.
Right,
all of our lists are so different.
I think it wasn't a bad year. It was just there was no huge big games. This year, 2018, there's at least 3 that I'm like, wow.
So top heavy.
Yeah.
A lot of these games that came out this year would be my top 100.
Yeah. I as I was making this list, I was like, wow, at least 6 of these are on my top 100 list when we go to making that list.
So I know what the order is. These two don't know yet. Yeah. So we're going to get some live reactions to this.
Which is fun. I like getting surprised.
I like finally not knowing. Let's get it back around.
Live reactions.
Number 10, Detroit Become Human.
I can't remember if I had this on my list because when I was putting it together, it was like towards the bottom. I was like, I think it is a top 10 game for me, but this was a good year and there was a lot of
I really liked this game. When it was first announced, I was like, I don't really care about that stuff. But then I played it, and I loved all 3 of the storylines. There's some that were not as good as the other 2.
All around, though, I think it was well written.
Yeah. The cop, I can't ever think of his name, but that was a really cool storyline.
I can't remember his name. That was my favorite one, too.
Was it Connor?
Connor, Connor, and then the older guy that he was...
Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, that's who it was,
Yeah, it's Mr. Krabs.
Yeah, that storyline was really good, and she was really good. I don't remember her name.
The one that's from... the Kevin Bacon show I used to watch.
The Following?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what she's from.
Yeah.
I think it's a great game. Very well written. I never played Heavy Rain, so I didn't have that entry point into it. I was connecting this more to like an Until Dawn type, but not horror game, obviously.
Yeah.
And it surpassed all my expectations. I played this last year on the collection on PlayStation.
Their gameplay is better than Until Dawn's and the core and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't find any bugs when I played.
No, it's clean.
And one of the best looking games.
I was about to say, to this day, I think Detroit Become Human is the best game I've ever played. Best looking game I've ever played. But that is because they don't have to account for gameplay stuff. So they can
focus on
exactly.
Yeah,
it's just
all their assets can be used up.
Exactly.
Yeah. I will say that my wife said that if I keep talking about Kevin Bacon, I will turn into Kevin Bacon.
I was so confused for a second.
Fingers crossed.
I had to let the best ad of all time.
I had to let the intrusive thoughts win. Sorry.
The part where you're in the dump, the garbage and all that, and it's raining. That part was really scary.
Creepy,
you're tearing off the other pieces of androids and attaching them to yourself.
That game does emotion really well. It delivers that, making you feel bad for these robots. I mean, at the end of the day, they're robots.
Yeah, and you feel like I was interested in all 3 of them. I think I was like, I want these people to live.
Yeah, my ending went different than yours, I'm pretty sure. The main guy there from the Grey's Anatomy guy died. He died earlier for me than I feel like other people did.
See, I marched with him, I think. And
really?
Then,
he got shot at the march for me.
I think he survived in mine. I think the only one that died was Connor on mine.
Whew. I think Connor died at the very end for me. That was the end of the game.
Well, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, spoilers. Sorry.
Kind of.
3 years later.
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, it's not really because you could get a different ending.
Decisions.
Yeah, and they're also dumb robots. Humans are better than robots.
I agree.
Even the main menu where the AI is talking to you in the main menu, that was a good touch too.
Yeah, so it's cool.
Is it in any way similar to iRobot the movie?
No, it is in some ways that they're compassion that you should feel for.
There is
robots.
a horror type of chapter where you go in that house of that woman and you get kidnapped and all.
Oh yeah,
that part's pretty good too.
No, it's a very well delivered game. And that is scary. It's almost like a cannibalism thing, but it's not. You're robots. Yeah, but it's like a serial killer thing. That's how they frame it.
That's cool.
You're a robot in there and you're finding all these disassembled robots that he just doesn't treat with any respect.
Did not mean to do that. I'm sorry.
Another cool thing that I enjoyed at the end of each chapter, it has your tree where your decisions will branch out.
And you're like, wait, what the fuck?
Yeah, there's so many there's so many different ways that game could go.
But I do think you'd like it, Cole, and it's on the PlayStation collection.
I would like it, and I kind of want to try it, but it's just so long ago, and I'm...
Yeah, it's finding the time for it. But I think with your affinity for the cyberpunk type stuff, there's enough of that kind of vibe in there, the wow, what if type of stuff. But yeah.
All right. Number 9, Sea of Thieves.
Heck yeah, beast game, dude.
I thought it'd be higher. I thought y'all were gonna have it higher. 'Cause that's about where I had it.
I don't remember where I had it.
I had it pretty low too, around 9 or 8.
It's a good game. Like, I had fun with it.
Yes.
That was the first year I got an Xbox and multiplayer, and I really got into multiplayer and all that, and it was around the same time, so I got to do that, jump into it first thing with y'all, and I had a lot of fun with Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I will say the fun I had in Sea of Thieves lasted for like an hour while we were playing, and then we'd get attacked. We'd be doing all these different treasure things, and then before cashing in, we would get attacked by this, like, it would just be me and Eric, or me, Eric, and Merle, and then we'd get attacked by this team of 4, and they fucking kill us.
Yeah, and you keep going back, because it's like, maybe I can get my stuff back. No, they keep killing you over and
it's
over
just
again.
dickhead move after dickhead move. I have never found a cool different player. There's never been a player that I've played with.
We don't do game chat, so that was the thing. I think we could have came across some good
One
people.
of the coolest things I did on there was the skull in the clouds out, the island with the raid kind of thing.
Yes and no.
I've never done
kind of in that same zone, though.
That was so intense.
It was, but after like 2 hours of it, and you just keep dying, and then someone comes across and steals all the shit you just got from it. We've had that happen multiple times. That's really, at the end of the day, the only reason this game is at the bottom of the list for me.
Yeah, because you can work your ass off, and then a person who's better gamer than you can just
come and just take your shit.
And I guess that's
pirates. Yeah, that's what they're trying to do.
I guess that's the whole point of the story is, but then why would I sink hours if I'm not going to get any better? Everything's the same, and then they ambush us. I don't know they're coming. They have the element of surprise, and they're just better at the game. It's just there's no balancing.
I understand that you're playing a pirate game, but at the end of the day, it's a game before it's like, I'm not opting in to be a pirate. I'm opting in to play a game as a pirate.
I still think it is.
That should be the game things first.
One of the best pirate games, though.
As
far as just having to I love the communication of you have people down there on the map, and somebody else is driving or steering the ship.
That type of thing.
That teamwork stuff was a lot of fun.
The navigating.
There is
the conversations in between, selling and stuff, are always fun. And
it's the perfect game for that.
Yeah,
where you're on the ship and you have nothing else to do but just conversate with your friends. It's fantastic.
I will say that fighting any type of creature in that game is fucking scary. It's fun and scary and sometimes hopeless, but it's also when you fall in the water, anyone who a lot of people kind of get scared of the depths, and it's fucking scary just to look down, even though there's nothing usually going to be there. But
sharks,
sharks. But I mean, then when you're in the deep and you're getting attacked by a megalodon or something, and you look down and you see the fucking megalodon, it's so scary.
Me and Merle, I think it was just me and you that one time we went after the megalodon.
Oh yeah, and the DLC stuff they added. Yeah,
that got me off of it a lot too. Is the story beats we'd be doing the story stuff, and then you get killed, and then you're spawned back across the map. And
it has a lot of those types.
I don't
quality
want to do
of life stuff.
45 minutes of selling.
Yeah, the quality of the life stuff is bad in that game, but it's the ebb and flow of pull that sail, everyone having to work in unison is what made that game so good. And everything does feel so minimalist in a way that it puts you in that world in a good way.
Yeah.
It isn't trying to do too much in any one thing, but there's a lot of variety to what you're doing.
Each island felt different too. They all had that same Caribbean theme, but the layout was different, I think, on each island. Which was cool.
I think early on, the reason I can't give the game higher than I did is the early on stuff, it felt mostly empty.
Yeah. Also,
you would come across something that looked different, but there wasn't really anything different to get from this island.
Yeah. It did suck that there was, there's all these islands that are different looking, they have different names, but there's really nothing there's also non-unlockables, you can't find a sale on an island. You can't find a certain sale.
It was just a chest.
Yeah, it was just a chest full of shit, and then I never got enough money to do anything.
You know what I hated in that game? The freaking snakes.
I hated
the snakes.
But I like the variety of, this is a snake island. It means I can get this thing here because it's a snake island. There's a lot of good on the map mission stuff.
It felt good
connected
to get back
that.
to a port and start trading stuff in.
Yeah.
But another thing with that game, and not to be too negative on it, but I didn't have anything to strive for as far
That's
as like
really the biggest
progression. Like I was like,
But okay, the reason we're doing retrospective, the reason that this list matters more than whenever this happened, 2019 or no, 2018, whenever we would have made it then, is we know what they've done with this game, and they've supported this game as well as any game
Still
that's been supported.
it. Yeah.
Still doing it. And they put those things in there that we're complaining about.
Yeah.
So I want to give it that kind of credit. It has come a long way, and that's why it made it over some of the other games that just kind of were what they were.
Yeah, I like that.
But,
Nope. You ready for number 8?
Yeah. Let's go.
All right, number 8, Dead Cells.
Hey, I made this on the list by myself.
By yourself.
Y'all
I haven't played.
still need to play it.
I haven't played Dead Cells.
Dude, this is one of my all-time favorite games. I was not the biggest fan of roguelikes until I played this game, and I think it does everything the best of any roguelike I've ever played. I don't have enough good words to say about it. We won't stay on this one as long because like anytime it's just one of us that played it, it's kind of harder to,
I will say I've watched you play it,
conversation.
and I really like the art style of it.
I love that they took what they took is a 3D model and they pixelated it. So they made it a 2D, 3D sprite,
shit.
and I think it works beautifully. Like it's so easy on the eyes. But that world, I really hope there's a Dead Cells 2 because that world has been fleshed out in such a really cool way.
What studio is that?
I should know that, but I cannot think of it on the top of my head. I know.
I didn't know if they were working on something like.
I imagine it's Dead Cells 2. Like
Okay.
this game was really successful.
Did you ever beat Dead Cells?
Oh yeah. I beat it a couple of times with different things there. I'll say the only negative is that there wasn't that Hades thing where it's like, okay, I need to beat it again to find out this thing. It's kind of like once you beat it, you're proud of that you beat it, and that's really it. But I did play the DLC, which is really good, but it's like a Dark Souls thing where they like took everything they knew and they made it harder for the DLC. But it's beautiful and well crafted. I think when I think of this game, I think of like the beautiful color variety, and once you've gotten to another area, the color changes and it's further into the game. So seeing that color makes you feel really good. Like I've never been here, and there's this vivid purple because I'm, a further level into it, and that's what kept me going. Is like, oh, this is a whole new area that I haven't seen, and it's not a super long game. Like I think
it's on Game Pass too right now, right?
It was. I don't know if it is.
I think they took it off.
I think they did.
We're gonna pause real quick, and that light is off. It went off.
Yeah, it keeps flickering. It keeps flickering on and off.
I did it. But no, I don't think it's on there right now, but I recommend, I would suggest buying it. I think it's worth buying. It's $20. It's a great game.
$20 fucking dollars.
All right, number 7, a game that we've all played.
Yes, games.
So I'm ready to talk about it because I don't know if it deserves to be here or not. Number 7, Octopath Traveler.
What?
It was not on my list.
It's high, dude.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was going to be on my
I didn't think it was going to be this high.
I didn't either. I really enjoyed the first like 10, 15 hours of this game, and then it grinded more and more, and I just wanted to see more story beats where I was having to go out and grind.
That's the key.
But I think it was the first game that I started really liking that the 2.5 HD, that kind of style of game. I think it's one of the most beautiful styles of like the graphics, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Well, what I'll say about this is, okay, I didn't have it on my list for a reason. I thought exactly what you said. It's too grindy. It didn't deliver on the story aspects that they kind of promised. But still to this day, when I see the thumbnail for this and I see gameplay of it, I'm like, I want to play it. Even though I know I don't like it, I want to play it because it looks that fucking good. It's so pretty.
I love what they were doing with the story. Like, I really liked it. I just don't want to spend hours getting to the next beat of that story. Does that make,
what was that sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, are you okay?
But I don't think the story was that good. Like there was one good story.
I was invested.
The problem is every time they introduced a new story with one of those 8, it didn't affect any of the other stories. None of them really interacted with each other in a real way.
That's like a complaint overall. Like I think everybody across the board was like there wasn't interaction between the characters, so it was weird. Like to have them all traveling, I guess.
Yeah.
I would have liked the style of 8 different stories, and then you just
Live a
Live.
Live a Live, whatever.
I will say, I do agree with you on that point because I remember getting to the place where you get the thief, and you're like, this guy's a fucking thief. Why the fuck would we just willy nilly join his band and then but decide to become thieves too. Like, what the fuck are we? What I mean, I'm sure these people are bad or whatever. I can't even remember the whole. But I'm like, why would we just fucking join this fucking guy?
Well, like I went through the whole Dancer story, and I really liked that story.
Yeah,
That's the only one that I was like really invested. Yeah, Primrose is really good. That's one I picked first. And then I go to the Hunter one. I'm like, this doesn't feel like it affected anything.
I like that character, but it was.
I mean, the Hunter one. Yeah. It wasn't a bad story, but it was like restarting a game. Is what it felt like when I went there. And I was like, I thought it was going to be streamlined in a way that was 8 characters
I think I
connected.
ended up getting all 8, and then I was still doing story stuff, but I was like grinding. I was like, I just want to see how this wraps. Like, I don't. It wasn't not necessarily wraps up, but how it progresses to where I give more of a shit. You know what I mean?
I agree.
More of a shit.
But is anybody excited for Octopath 2?
Not at all.
Yeah, I am.
I am too. I think they'll listen.
But they'll fix some of the grinding.
I think feedback will be
maybe grindiness. I still feel like the story. It's just too much to ask for all 8 of them to interlock in any kind of real sizable way.
Every character's name spells out Octopath, the first initial, and it's doing it again with Octopath 2.
Unnecessary.
That is unnecessary.
That
is so Japanese,
Square Enix,
bro.
That is
so
Enix
Square Enix.
They're like, they're never gonna get it, and now you do it a second time. Good God,
God is good.
He is.
Number 6. You ready for number 6?
Yeah.
Number 6, Tetris Effect.
Heck yeah, beast game, dude.
Awesome game. I didn't get to try it until after this year when it came on Game Pass.
Yeah,
and then
that's the same.
Really got to try it with the Series X.
I never played it with VR.
Amazing. I didn't either, and I heard that's a really cool way to play it.
I'm sure it is. I don't know if I could play
We played it multiplayer though, didn't we?
Yeah,
holy
online.
shit.
That's kind of crazy. We played a Tetris game online.
Yeah.
Like, I can't explain why that game is so great, but every level of that game, it was so unique. And
dude, that game is so emotional.
Yeah.
Like, it's a Tetris game.
It's so emotional, and all you're doing is stack and blah.
But dude, beating that game, that's really the biggest compliment I can give. When I finished this game, I actually got like that emotional. I didn't cry or anything, but like
it makes you feel something.
Yeah, for real.
Swell.
And like what you're doing isn't that emotional, but the music and the what's happening in front of you, it is beautiful. And they do have a lot of imagery going behind the puzzles you're doing.
I like the one that's like in a canyon and the fire, like it's fire. It's like I think it's Indians.
Yeah,
but that one's really
cool. That's probably about the time it was getting so fucking hard.
Yeah. There's one that
I
was
couldn't
really
focus
cool.
on anything.
It was like gears. It looked like gears, and that one was cool. The music is fantastic. Some of my favorite music in a video game.
I've always been one that's like,
you
see a top 100 or the best games of all time list, and someone has Tetris on there, and I'm like, scoff at it. But this game. When you get in that flow state, I understand what people are saying about that.
And it's also to the point where every move you make, every breath you take, every move you make in that game determines like how the song sounds.
Right. Yeah.
So like not even just moving them down, but like moving them left to right. Yeah. If you do it on beat, it's fucking so much more satisfying than if you just like. And so that also adds the pressure of the fucking pace getting picked up and the music's hyping up and you're like, holy shit.
When it gets those speeds where it starts you're just like, oh my God, you're just throwing and praying.
And I like how it has a speed, like a speedometer at the bottom, like speed 2 out of 10 or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, oh, dude. And then when you get to 10, and when you start like slowly rising, you're like, I'm not going to make it. I'm not going to survive. I need to prepare.
I remember I got this. It wasn't a real compliment, but it was a Merly compliment. So I'll take it. When I was playing, what did I say? When I was playing multiplayer, you said, "Oh, you're better at Tetris than I thought you would be," and I was like, "I don't know how to take that."
That just means you were better than me. And I was like, I don't expect Eric to be better at any game than me. So I don't expect anyone to be better.
Another backhanding. Oh.
No, that game got me really good at Tetris.
But that's how I am with games in general. It's like I expect to be the best. So when someone else is better, it's like I got
Dr. Mario.
Didn't expect it.
Dr. Mario crawled so this game could run. Let's be honest.
No.
Oh, Dr. Mario did Tetris too.
No, Tetris
it did garbage Tetris.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
Right,
I'm gonna get a drink real quick.
Go get you a drink.
Yeah, I'll get to number 5. Number 5, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah,
good. Top 5 for sure.
Yeah, for sure. It had to be top 5.
I haven't played as much as this game at 40, 50 hours, which is a lot. But I always thought I'd play more because like the older games I played so much of, but that was because I didn't have a lot.
It was just the thing you did
Yeah.
was Smash Bros. Brawl. Probably was your mouse or
Melee.
So never got to play these games. And I remember I was in kindergarten and after school care, and some sixth graders who used to bully me all the time. I mean, like legit.
You don't play Smash Bros.
No, they would it had nothing to do with Smash Bros. But anyway, they brought Smash Bros one day, and our teacher, Miss Barbie, let us. Yeah, I know. I know. She let us watch Wild Wild West. I was in kindergarten.
Dude, there's so much going on in this
I watched
story.
Wild Wild West. Anyway, this is a tangent. But she let us play Smash Bros. I don't remember which one. And I remember they had Game Boy Colors and they had they brought Smash Bros. For after school care.
You had a delightful ass
I was
time.
like, dude, this is cool. Never got to play it because
What
they didn't
age?
like me. Huh?
What age?
I was in kindergarten.
Kindergarten watching Wild Wild West. There are some dicey things going on in that movie.
And Miss Barbie said, do not tell your parents.
Yeah, that movie opens with Will Smith in a fucking
Selma
water
Hayek.
tower.
That's it.
With a naked lady. Yeah.
Yeah, it's PG-13.
Also, did her husband Ken suggest that movie?
Yeah.
I just remember she was hot, and I don't know that if it
Well,
was
the name like Miss Barbie, you have to be fucking hot.
a 5-year-old me thinking she's hot, or if she was really hot. I don't know.
5-year-old me had no preference. I did not
I just remember thinking she's hot, and not hot, like beautiful.
Now, this
love
is
that story. That was a great story.
Yeah, dude.
this
Wild
isn't
Wild
my most played Smash Bros, but I think it is the best Smash Brothers game.
100% it's my most played, but that's
my
because
most played.
I never owned one. I did play it at people's houses growing up, but I didn't know the appeal as much because it was just Mario for me. Yeah. Mario and Donkey Kong. Like I wasn't as big of a Nintendo fan as you. But this game, I think I can really attest to how good this game is because I didn't have that history with it to be like, oh, it was going to be good regardless.
Yeah.
It landed in a big way, and I've definitely played 100 hours of this game.
This game's fun.
Which is a lot. It's up there with the most I've played any fighting game.
Hours.
But yeah, I think it's great, and it delivers on that. This is the definitive thing, and that's a little bit of a bittersweet moment.
Yeah,
'cause I don't know if we'll ever get. There'll be another Smash Bros, but
it
what
won't
would
be ever this big again,
right?
Yeah, I mean, was it like 100 characters?
It's getting there.
Nearly.
And guess what? They fucking it's
right
done
short
now.
Yeah,
it's done. They're done adding characters.
Yeah.
Sora was the last one,
Which-
and they also fucked over Waluigi, dude.
That, but the DLC characters I think did a good representation of like they had Cloud's in the last one, but like Sephiroth and like getting Joker from Persona and then Banjo Kazooie from Microsoft and then Persona just getting God damn, what was it like Sora from like just all these different ones.
No, they definitely did mostly well with it. They missed a few, but. Now it is a love letter. Like the game is a love letter to all of the fans that along the years. Like I don't think anyone can really complain about what they got.
So it's like this is really like the ultimate fan service type game is making a brawler with different
different way.
with different like a mixed roster.
Yeah.
So it's an ultimate fan service type game, and they could have leaned like super heavily into that and just like let that be all right, dickhead. Save some pussy for the rest of us.
He's got a really big wiener.
But
he has to let everyone
you know what that sound really screams? My daddy loves me. Anyway, what the fuck was I saying, cocksucker?
I hope that showed up so they know why we got so distracted.
Oh, that pissed me off. Now I lost my train of thought. I was saying they could have heavily leaned into the fan service, like part of it, and not made the gameplay as tight as they did.
No,
Because,
that's true.
Yeah.
You could have rested on your laurels that you have.
Laurels.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I thought I said it right.
No, I was just thinking, I was thinking of that internet. I was thinking of that internet thing, Laurel, whatever the fuck it was, where it said Laurel, and then some people heard.
Oh Yanni.
Yeah.
Yanni or Laurel. Good God, we're in the weeds. But no, they could have rested on the fact that they have all of these video game characters, and like we don't have to make it that good. We don't have to make it an esport level quality.
Yes,
but
we could just put exactly. It's
Exactly.
probably the best, most competitive fighter ever in terms of video games go. So like, it deserves all the credit in the world.
It's also so much fun to watch Smash Bro rage quit comps.
Yeah.
What I really like about this game is with like the characters, the stickers, and the stages. Like it is a Nintendo Hall of Fame. Like it is all
really.
the cool shit from Nintendo.
I mean, that's a good way to put it.
Like franchises that Nintendo has not made a game for in years. Like you still get to see these characters like Captain Falcon and like Fox. Fox hasn't had a game in a while.
It is a collection of a
Little
lot
Mac
of...
from Punch Out. Like it's cool to see these characters in a newer game because we haven't got that.
It is kind of a museum.
It's like a living museum that you can play. That's a great way to put it, actually.
Pretty cool.
All right. Number 4, Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
That's about where I thought it'd be. I think I had it higher by a little bit.
Yeah. My favorite Assassin's Creed game. I love this
Odyssey?
game. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people out there that are mad about that. I love Assassin's Creed 2, and in a lot of ways that is better in its own thing. Yeah. But this game is just so grand and adventurous, and it really brought me back. And that's why I give it my favorite game.
I will say that Assassin's Creed 2 is my favorite, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey is my favorite setting.
Yeah.
I love the Greek stuff. It's so good.
The only thing I was watching him play it today, and I have been playing Valhalla recently, and there are some little things that Valhalla did better by like not making it to where you stealth assassinate somebody and only 1/4 of their health is like when you see Valhalla and then you see what they're doing in Mirage, you can see they're progressing back. Not in a bad way, but like progressing back towards the stealth.
Away from the RPG.
Yeah, away from the RPG type shit. Which in Odyssey, when you do get overpowered, it's fucking fun as shit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the best part of Odyssey is like picking different weapons in it and not just using an axe, because in Valhalla I just use the axe.
That's what I love about Odyssey is the different armor sets, and like I change it every time I get a new one just to see how different it looks, and all the weapons feel pretty good. I don't have any complaints about that.
No, all of them are fun in a different way. At the point of the overpowered part, some people are like, oh, it doesn't feel the same as Assassin's Creed 2, and I get that. Like,
I like feeling overpowered.
You don't have a game like that. I understand being annoyed by this game isn't what they know of the original 4. But the overpowered, I fucking love running up and kicking someone off a fucking building.
The Spartan kick.
It's so fun. So in the most video game ass way, I love this game.
The Spartan kick is the most like that's done if we want to change batteries.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay. It is a very video game. But like you can call your horse from anywhere, like in the
who cares? I don't care.
You can sail to an island and then call your horse
and just kicking the boat, like just kicking people and stuff. It all feels, but it's in the best way possible. Like,
this game is for those that don't overthink what's
turn off your brain and just play.
Right.
Have a good time. And I have a good time just exploring the islands. Like I like just going to these like different underground places and all that.
I think my biggest praise for this game is, as big as it is, it never felt like work. Like Valhalla isn't as big as this game, but sometimes it felt like work to go from place to place for me. I was always happy to ride across the country in Odyssey, like just to see that world. I love it. Go ahead, go.
I will say, I do love how all the things tie back to Greek mythology, just because it's such a big thing that we love. Grow up in Greek mythology, heroes and villains and gods and goddesses, and it's just cool that all this like ties back. Even like the hunting, like you can hunt special animals and shit. Like it's also very fun.
And I will applaud them for like giving you the choice of Cassandra, or what's the other one? Alexios. They made, like, I've only played as Cassandra, and they made her like so likable.
She's fantastic.
Yeah, one of the best. I think it's one of the best characters they've done in Assassin's Creed.
And Cassandra is the best, and Alexios doesn't exist because he's not in Valhalla. And you know who's in Valhalla?
Cassandra.
The first time I bought that game, because it has Alexios on the front, but if you open it up and you can flip it where it's Cassandra, I was like, no, we're flipping
let's just switch this on around. She's amazing. She's one of my favorite new characters of the past decade. Like, she's so
and I like
likable.
Eivor and I like Balak from Origins and Valhalla, but I don't think neither one of them. I didn't care as much as I did about Cassandra.
Yeah. No, I do think Assassin's Creed deserves credit. As far as Ubisoft games go, they've done a lot with these past few installments.
I just wish they would
I think this is the best one.
Snip the present day cord, because we don't care.
Yeah, well, they've started to cut it down. And I feel like Odyssey was a little more cut down than Origins. And then
Valhalla, really? required once.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
I do want to, like, I'm playing Odyssey right now. I can't wait to see how fun the DLC is.
Yeah.
And, like, how fantastical
Atlantis
it goes.
is awesome. Yeah.
Number 3, Marvel's Spider-Man.
Yeah, dude.
That's pretty much where I predicted it would be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I had it higher, but that was just me. I was the only one.
Oh, I think this is where I had it.
Yes, both were. Well, yeah, I think it's where.
I think it's where all three of us had it.
I had it number 2.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Wow. Okay, well, that's something to talk about when we get there. But let's talk about this.
I think it's one of the best superhero. It is the best superhero game I think that's ever been released.
It's my second favorite. But that doesn't, like, that's high fucking praise. Like, second favorite out of the top 3 is really good when it comes to superhero games for me. This game is fantastic.
It nailed being Spider-Man, and it got that rogue gallery in there, the Sinister Six, and I enjoyed all the villain stuff. Mr. Negative wasn't as bad as I thought he was going to be.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, like I was kind of dreading that just because I didn't know him as much.
It was good to see something new-ish. You know, like I wish it wouldn't have been as much of a focus, but it was nice to jump in there and be like, oh, well, this is something I don't know about that much.
I love the cool. All the suits were pretty pretty cool suits.
Yeah, the
most
suits were sick.
Yeah.
And
some of them I was like, why would I ever use this? But yeah, most of them were really good.
And they all like tweaked how you would, like, they gave a perk or something.
Yeah, that was a big thing.
Like one of them, the Iron Spider had the arms.
Yeah,
and
the punk rock.
I love how they did the movie costumes too. They were really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
You have to with that franchise. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but they nailed the collectibles, like the backpacks. Like I was interested in every one of the backpacks I found, like to see how this tied back into like some of the history stuff, and it was always like backstory. And I love getting a Peter Parker that's been doing this for a while, because I think that's the best way to, like, Batman did the same thing of not just making you start out as like beginning of this, like it's a lived in world, and he's already been Spider-Man for a while.
We don't need an origin story for a fucking superhero that has like 18 movies and multiple games. Like,
what's wild here is, I said I wasn't going to get into it too much, but you have this at 2, I had this at 3, and the difference in R2 and R3, I 100% of this game, like platinum. I guess it was a platinum. I did everything you could do in this game. You did not.
Yeah, I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
Or okay, I remember you complaining heavily about
the crimes,
some of the things in there. And I didn't as much as you. I didn't complain about it, but I thought that pushed you off of this game.
It's just the story and just the feel of the gameplay. Yeah. Is where I was coming from with it.
But I guess you shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't detract from a game over the 100% mark. Yeah.
Which that's when I got the PS5 version, and that's when I 100% it and did all the crime stuff.
That's true. You gave it some time, went back to it.
And I enjoyed it, and the DLC was pretty good. I think the game's amazing. Yeah.
The only thing I did not like, and this is nitpicking, is playing as Mary Jane.
Yeah,
the stealth sections, like, it's a little too many of them, and then like there's 3 Mary Jane ones, and then like another Miles one, and I was like, if I want to play as Miles, I want to do some cool shit.
But they rectified with Miles, it wasn't as bad because you knew eventually
there's a potential.
I'm excited to see where this story goes too. Like it did a good job of making it a complete story, but also having those little loose ends that can come back, like the Green Goblin stuff and all that.
Well, of our top 3, this is the most video gamey of the top 3. Yeah. Like, and not in a bad way. I think it's good when a game can like understand that, hey, here's the objectives across the map. Go do them and have fun with it. And I enjoyed that, but that definitely is why it's 3 for me, because some of those objectives I hated. I really did not like the Taskmaster stuff, and some of the random crimes I did not like. I didn't really like What's-Her-Face at all. There's a section of that game that was way beneath the rest of it, and it's the Black Cat stuff. Or no, Silver Sable.
Silver Sable, yeah.
All of that
Black
stuff.
Black Cat was DLC, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, I heard that was good, but the Silver Sable stuff sucked. When the city was taken over, it's like in Arkham Knight. It's the fog section of Arkham Knight that was not fun. And you just wanted to go back to what it was, and then it does, and then it's a great game again. But that's the only reason it's a 3 for me.
A big reason why I put this so high is like I always remember jumping out, like he jumps out of the apartment, and just that first time you're swinging and the music's playing, like that, just the biggest smiles on my face.
That is,
and the city's below you, like it's moving and feels lived in. It feels like you're just a piece of the puzzle.
That is the thing about this game that I never thought we would feel that kind of feeling from a video game. Like the moment I started swinging, I was like, this is unlike anything I've ever played in a video game. And that's why it is one of the best ever. That's why this year is nuts. Because most years this would have been the best thing I ever played.
It really is. Like the top 3 probably have some of the best stories in gaming. Overall in like the last 10 to 15 to 20 years. It's just, I mean, honestly, when you go back, you can't really fault those stories, but it's just the way they tell the story, not to what the story, it's not like super unique. It's a Spider-Man story at the end of the day, but the mocap, the fucking voice acting,
super cinematic.
It's just it's all very satisfying, and I just love the way the technology is just making games better.
And
do you think this story is better than any of the Arkham stories?
I do think it's better than.
I like City's story.
I like City's story better, but I like the way they
Well,
it's hard to
here's
argue
my
with you.
thing. I like this game better than City. I like Arkham Knight better than City on a gameplay basis and on the world basis. Like Arkham Knight's
Arkham
my
Knight
favorite
world
ever.
it's
It's
the one.
going around and completing those things was the most fun I've had in an open world game. The story's better here than it is in Night, not as good as City. So that's where I am. Like those 3 are all kind of around each other.
Yeah, really.
But
honestly.
if you ask me, I'm gonna say Arkham Knight. But the fact that this is in that same conversation, that's a big thing.
I had lost my train of thought. There's something I wanted to say. I don't remember what it was. It's something
Was it about the story?
Maybe. I'll get back to it.
But I'll say that the story is really cinematic here, but the reason it is at 3 for me is this is the 3rd best story. Like, I don't think it comes close to the top 2 games.
I mean, like I just said, story-wise, honestly, I'm going to say something when we get to the other 2 that is kind of weird, but
I remember what it was.
But it's like I said, these 3 stories are really great.
Just all around.
Even like them taking the story that we know of Dr. Octopus, but the way they did it in this game, I think is like it was one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
Like, the end battle, like all leading up to that final battle, like against we were both on the side of that building fighting and stuff. It was so cinematic, and then he reveals he knew you were Spider-Man and still did all this bad shit.
Yeah, that was a cool twist on it that he like knew the whole time. Like,
and he's not dead. That's another cool thing. Is like there's.
I will say Doc Ock looked like a bitch. He looks like a dweeb.
He's comic actor.
I know he is, but I was just like, he's so dweeby. And then he turns on you, you're like, fuck.
Just that ending, and then the Aunt May, like the two punch of like the Doc Ock and then the Aunt May stuff right after it. I was like, oh, this is a really good story.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to number 2, Red Dead Redemption 2.
You didn't think of it too?
No, I knew it would be 2. I don't know why I'm kidding myself.
You want to start off? It was your number 1.
I do want to start off because it was my number 1.
It's my number 3.
And the reason I think this was my number 1 is up until recently when I started doing research on these games, I always thought God of War was better. But when I'm looking back at these, I think the stories are the same on
level.
Yeah. Was.
We kind of talked about this a little before we recorded, about the story.
I think
quality.
Arthur is one of, depending on how you played him, is one of the best characters in video games of all time. I think his voice actor's great. I think Dutch, you can see Dutch quickly become more and more evil. You can see the gang getting out of hand. Micah is a great foil for your character.
Yeah.
He's just an absolute evil piece of shit. And then that one time you have to help break him out of jail, and you go on a shooting spree in this town, and you're like, fuck, I was playing this honorably, and now I got to kill all these people that are coming after me.
Strawberry.
Yeah, Strawberry.
Yeah.
And it's just. I just love this movie. It's endlessly quotable. Like when he's telling John Marston, he's like, "Go on and be a man." I'm like, dude, that shit is so fucking. It grips me, dude. I honestly, I think I'm just a sucker.
Yeah.
Plus, it's it's shooting, so it's a little bit. The combat's a little bit easier than God of War, and you can enjoy the plot more. And there's not loads of music in this game, but there is one section where you're riding back and you can't fast travel or nothing, so you have to listen to this song, and it's just like it's a fucking gut punch. That's like in the emotions in every way. It's great. I know that the combat leaves something to be desired, and some people think that the quests and missions are structured in a way where you have to do a certain thing, but that's okay. Hold my hand, whatever. Yeah. Just tell the story you want to tell because it's awesome.
Yeah. I have no complaints with the mission structure and stuff like that.
My only complaints are, I think it's the same as yours. I think it's
combat,
and then I don't like the stamina, like having to eat the stuff and
it does get a little ridiculous. I'm like chewing 10 cans of tobacco.
That was my one like that. Like I love this game. It's like the Borderlands to Borderlands 2 comparison, where this game blows the first one out of the water. Because like the character building that this game does, the first one does not do any of that. Like the people you're hunting down the first one, you don't even know.
They're evil.
You don't give a shit.
Yeah, you don't care.
Then like this one, it fleshes out all like the camp stuff. It fleshes out all these characters that you're going to be around for this 50, 60 hour game. Like,
I would say if you condense this game into the 30 hours that God of War is, I would have put this at number one. But my detraction is that with the story being as drawn out as it is, there's some sections that are paced too fast or too slow to like all of a sudden.
I feel like it goes to shit real fast, and you're like, well, now I just got to do story missions. But I can't.
That's my main thing. Is there's a really like slow section, and then all of a sudden. I've really loved Dutch. I love Dutch, and then he just all of a sudden is a different person to me. It doesn't feel like earned as much. And then at the end, where you find out that Arthur has tuberculosis, it's like I don't know. It feels like it speeds things up for me, and I have to rush through the game a little bit.
I didn't enjoy the game as much when that moment happened because I was like, well, I need to do the missions, and
it took away that exploration thing for me. But that's just
I think the reason that does not affect me is because I was playing the game knowing that
something like that was coming.
Well, Arthur was going to have to help John live.
Oh, yeah.
He was going to help everyone escape. He was going to be the one who shows everyone that this gang is evil. It's not the freedom fighters that we always thought we were, because Hosea dies, and he's really the moral compass of the group. Yeah. And even when Hosea was alive, you could see Dutch is like basically disregarding everything he fucking says, and Mike is in his ear, the little devil on his shoulder. And I just felt like I was invested in being the savior of this group. Like, now that I have tuberculosis, I have to save these people, and I didn't mind waiting. I didn't know if it would just like, I didn't know that you would get to play as John, which is there's a whole other part of the game when you play as John. It's not a very big part, but
after that.
It's not a big part. It's like 2 hours.
Once Arthur was gone, I was like, this isn't my story anymore. Like I was there for Arthur.
But it tells you how you build the fucking house and everything.
No, I mean, I love John, don't get me wrong, but
and Charles, I'm one of the best characters. Is Charles. But one of the best sidekick characters is Charles, the half Indian, half black man,
Charles,
who teaches you how to hunt and stuff. Yeah. He's awesome.
Y'all know I'm on record not being the biggest fan of the original Red Dead, and for this game to be right behind Kratos and God of War,
spoilers. Whoa,
it's kind of spoilers. Like you didn't know. But that's a big step because Arthur earned it for me. Like it was all about Arthur in that game.
Yeah, his arc. Man. His character is awesome. You can grow. And also the little things in this game. It's a Rockstar game, so it's always little things in games that they do that make this game, like the growing of the hair, the fucking even wanted level, shit like that.
I think it's the best, most lived in feeling open world game. Like just the little stuff, like the people in the woods and like all this.
Yes, all the little random events
that's going on that. It's not.
I would give you that 100%. That I do believe this is the greatest open world ever created.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think anyone's ever done better with it.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think that the gap between Rockstar's open worlds and like other people's open worlds is big because they take fucking 10 years to make a game and they put little shit in their game. There's still Easter eggs in GTA that no one's figured out.
Yeah.
Like,
I think a good comparison here is to think of this game and then think about Assassin's Creed Odyssey and how when you go to a town, it's like, oh, there's the guy I'm supposed to talk to.
Yeah.
Whereas in Red Dead, it's like, oh, he just happened to be there. Like, everything feels like they're actually on a cycle.
It feels like a coincidence. Not.
It feels like these people are living a life before you get there, and it's not just like, here comes the, and this is going to sound weird, but here comes the player character. Let's walk in this little space we got.
Well, that's how a game like Assassin's Creed feels. Again, I like the video game-ness of it, but like that's going to be a line in the sand where like Red Dead is a special thing because they didn't do that.
And like even to this day, I don't think that any of the open world games have touched it. Another one of my favorites is Ghost of Tsushima, and I love that world, but I don't think it's
not nearly as lived in. No, that's true.
Number one is God of War.
What?
2018.
Me and Merle both had this number one. Cole had it number two. So I, before I even started at it, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be it."
I think we all kind of knew it would be there. Even Cole.
Yeah, I knew it would be number one. I just knew that I'd have to do the upset because I think. I thought I've already told you how I feel about Red Dead. So, but yeah, this game is.
It's not a clear-cut thing even for me. Like, God of War is stellar to me, but like I understand your point of the two. Yeah. It really is a by the moment-to-moment thing. And if you're a person that considers the amount of time you spend with a character, I understand completely. If you like both of those games, picking Red Dead.
And it also, I'm such a wishy-washy, like, when it comes to my... That's why I hate doing this, because next week I could feel totally different.
God of War.
Yeah, and I mean, God of War
Detroit
gives
Become
you
Human,
so much.
number one.
Yeah. God of War gives you so much to work with.
Yeah.
I think
positively.
I was so high on this game because I loved the original series, and this was just like taking those games and the character from those games and just making a story that I don't think
we expected.
No, it's
nobody could have
expected. One of the best
stories
ever told on games. I think.
Yes.
I think that is a good point to make. Nobody expected this game to do what it did. Whereas like Red Dead, it's like if it didn't do what it did, it would be a disappointment.
This is what I expected when I first heard that they're making a God of War game.
Got it. Yeah, go ahead.
Is a new God of War game or like a reboot or whatever the fuck it was when it first came out. I thought what they were going to do is going to get him to try to struggle to be a better man. Yeah. And then by the end of it, you're just doing the same shit.
Yeah, killing a god.
Killing every god.
I'm glad they held back. Like, I do have my problems with the boss fights, but I'm glad they held back of you just slaughtering these Norse gods. Like,
that is literally my only complaint with that game.
It's the bosses.
Yeah, it's the same trolls.
Too.
Yeah.
Mine too. Yeah, and we'll speak to combat because I know you guys like the combat more than Red Dead.
I want Merle to talk a little bit about God of War because I feel like me and you have done a lot of
it. We did.
Last episode, click the thing that's over one of our heads.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I do want to say I think it was intentional to not make it all god bosses because you know, what's his name, the director of these games? Crap.
Corey Barlog.
Corey Barlog. Yeah. You know, part of him is like, okay, so God of War 1 through 3 and all the spinoffs were kind of just like this niche, kind of cliche thing by the end of it. Yeah. Like he had to feel like, okay, is this all I am? This hack and slash, like the sex and the killing gods and the QTEs and everything. And I feel like this game was like, it needs to be special. It needs to be. He probably played The Last of Us
and it was like Kratos.
Why can't I make something like this?
Yes.
I will make something like this.
It's like Kratos grew up.
Yeah, and that's exactly. It feels like that's what happened to Corey. Like I think it is a journey of Corey Barlog as a director. Well, hey, let's grow up and bring it into the next stage.
Yeah,
and that's what we got here.
Yeah,
I think he because I think there's an interview where he's talking about how he had a kid during all this, and that's why he did God of War that way.
Oh yeah, to make it more of a companion.
And it's also like a little bit of recognizing you cannot do the same formula unless you're Call of Duty over and over again, and still expect to make money and grow.
Right.
Like the whole thing of, I think as an artist is to make something that grows. Yeah. So like either grows you or the person you make it for or grows the art itself. So I think that that is probably another thing. Yeah. That's just how I feel when I play it myself. I'm just like, wow, this, I'm an adult now. I played God of War 3. I watched him play all the God of Wars. I see what it was. And then now this is a more mature more like it just fulfilled.
It's fleshed out is what it is. It's very
even like
grounded
going
and
back
real.
to the first God of War game. You didn't fight any gods besides Ares, I think. So
Really, in the first one?
So I mean, like that, it fits with like the rebrand.
Yeah, it's returning to the grounded
Yeah.
source of it.
I will say that we didn't talk about with Monty is the score in this game. Bear, what's his name?
Bear McCreary, the one that does Walking Dead
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
He fucking nailed it, dude.
Yeah.
And this may be from the other games, but when Kratos gets the blades of chaos and he walks through,
It's
what's
his
her
old
name?
theme from the
Yeah,
games.
dude. But it's still so fucking cool, dude. It's
I love the boat ride to go back to get the blades.
Yeah.
Where you're just kind of chilling with Athena, and it's just dark and like thundering and stuff.
Yeah.
It's such
Atmospheric.
a movie game, but
It is, yeah.
it's just like I don't. To me personally, it would never translate to a movie as well as this game plays.
No,
I think you're right. I think you're right, and it's also like
That's why I think it's
The
a
medium
perfect
itself.
video game. Like it tells a great story, and you have the gameplay that you would want from a good game. Like it has
Right.
both things.
Yeah. But I think that being said, we have y'all made a God of War episode
Yeah,
talking
so
about
check that
the
out.
history of it and the upcoming God of War Ragnarok. So yeah, check that out.
and if you have any thoughts, you know where to put them.
Go ahead and drop
Yeah.
your list down in the comments.
Yeah, we'd love to see your comments. Like we love talking to you guys.
If
So
we missed anything, put it down in the comments.
Yeah, especially if you just want to hype. If you just want to get in there and hype about the new God of War Ragnarok, come on.
I do think we
we'll
will.
hype you up, you hype us up.
I think we're gonna try to do a review for God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
I think that's our next like God of War thing we're doing.
And the next retrospective coming is 2017, which Eric said was better than 2018.
It's a good year.
It is a good year. I don't know if I could say
It has some of my top 10 games of all time.
Oh, it has at least one of mine.
I don't remember 2017.
2017 is
so-
great. I'm ready
It
to get into
has
that
three
one.
of mine.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't remember what the third one. I know what two of them are.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm thinking then. Anyway, we'll get into that next time. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you.
And see you later. Bye. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking and subscribing. If you want more videos like this, click here. If you want to see gameplay, click here.